All right. So yes, once again, you all are welcome to our live session this evening. And for the most part, we're in a new month now, the month of June. The month of May is complete, or has passed. And it was just an interesting month. I'll share my screen now so that you guys can see how far we've come. To be honest, there were no changes last month in terms of closed trade, so my portfolio kind of stays the same. But I'll just show you guys anyways. Let me just pull that up quickly. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Hold on. Okay. So while this is coming up, like I said, I didn't close any trades in the month of May. So what it means is my portfolio stays the same. However, I opened a host of trades. So I opened a bunch of trades. At the moment, we have 14 open trades running, and we're up just about 14% right now, which is quite interesting. But let's the journal is open now, so let me just show you guys what I'm speaking of. Uh, okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Can you guys see my screen? Yes. Okay, all right, that's cool. So this is like I said, let's go back to last month. So yes, exactly, no trades, right? No close trades last month. But if we let's see last year up to now, so we're up 36% since January of last year, and yeah, that's quite interesting. So some of us have seen this portfolio move up from time to time because I periodically share this just to show you guys how I'm tracking. One of the ways I track my system and some of the portfolios I manage. But yeah, 36% so far in what, say 17 months, which is quite good if you ask me. But as you can see, some of these closed trades were like from April, so nothing has been no closed trades yet in May. As we speak, if I would close the running trades, this portfolio will move up to 50% right now. But the trades are still running; they have a long way to go, so I can't really close the trades as we speak. But yeah, just this is just an update. If I bring this to this year, we're up 13.2%. Let's just say about this, and that's also quite good for 5 months of trading. Now, this is also excluding the running trades, and I'll say this is quite good. Okay, so this is our performance so far. If anyone is wondering how the year is looking for us, or for me personally in the team, this is how we're looking. We're up 13% as we speak. And yeah, I think I don't know if anybody has a question here. If not, I think we'll just move over to this week or to the chat.
I guess sorry, I have a question.
All right, Yusuf, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so this Stonk journal, is it automated or you have to put in your can you connect it to your account or you have to put it manually? You have to put your trades manually.
Now, right now, you still have to do that manually. The automated feature is not complete, like it's not fully out because I reached out to them for that, but it's not really out. So far it's still manual. Now, another thing that has not been properly done, like I said, is the public track record. So there's a way to send out a link from this so that anybody anywhere can actually view your performance or your dashboard. But that is not also the best because it is working, but the way it looks, the way the public version looks is not really the best. It doesn't show everything. So I also reached out to them for that so that they can also make the needed adjustments for that as well. But so far it is still manual. think sooner or later it would have that feature of being automated, but so far it's still manual.
Okay, all right. Because I tried to like check it out and I saw that I have to do it manually.
Yes, yes. But then there's a way to do it. There's a pattern to doing it. Because if you don't follow the right pattern, you might be confused. So I think I can just help you out if you're interested in doing that, maybe on Discord.
Okay,
Just help
okay.
you set it up.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Yeah, any other questions just before we move over? All right. So let's move over then. So I will share my screen now, my chat now. We have a pending conversation, which is drawing key levels or drawing levels of support and resistance. After which we're supposed to look at back testing. But yeah, let's do that first. So I would adjust my screen now and show you guys the charts. Let's see. All right. So I think you guys can see my charts. Is that correct? Can you guys see my charts?
Yes, you can.
All right. Just making sure. Okay, so before we talk about the key levels and drawing support and resistance, I think we'll just go over the charts just to see what the market is presenting since our last session. So AUJPY, not much has changed, to be honest. I'm still looking out for buys. I think some of us are short here. I think Carlos is short here, expecting this draft to the downside. I do not hold any trades on AD at the moment. I expect price to come down to this level for me to look for buys, or for price to break out of this for me to look for buys. So either ways, I'm still just waiting. CAT JPY is like the same thing. We break out to the upside, after which I'll look for a retest. But of course, we need the breakout first, which is why we have just this arrow here. So yeah, for the most part, this guy has just been consolidating. I think in the last 3 months. So I think there's not much to look at here. CHFJPY, still long on this guy, and I think we're very close to a breakout. Very close. You can see this. Will I say squeeze? So since April, this has been just tightening up. At some point there'll be a breakout, either to the upside or to the downside. But I'm leaning towards the upside since the overall trend is still here in play. So yeah, I'm long on CHFJPY at the moment. As I said before, this is the oldest trade on my portfolio. I took the buys on CHFJPY way back in September of 2024, so that's quite some time, and I'm still holding this trade up until now. EuroJPY, also waiting for a breakout, as you guys can see from the charts, and so far we've not had that. We've been ranging for what, 8-9 months now since the dump in July. We've not really had a successful breakout to the upside, and that's what I'm waiting for. So if we get that, of course I look for a pullback to take long. So that will take quite some time. So that's okay. That's fine. Pound JPY, I'm also long at the moment, and yeah, that's about it. Expecting for that upside continuations. We'll see if we get that. Okay. So I think for the JPYs, I'm only long on CHF JPY and Pound JPY. NJ, nothing for me, to be honest. Either we come back to the key level here, or we break up with this guy. So this will obviously take some time. So that's why I'm not stressing it. USD is pulling back mainly because of the weakness from the US dollar. Okay, so dollar is growing weak again, and not really surprising because of course there are still uncertainties with tariffs, right? But again, I think we have some economic data come out in the US. I haven't looked at that so far, but I think that also might have played a part in the current weakness we see in the US dollar. But yes, the dollar is very weak, and that's pretty much why we're seeing this drop. If you look across board, in fact, on every dollar pair right now, you can tell that it is just very weak. That's very obvious. So yeah, that's UJ. I expect, like I said before, I was looking out for this pattern which has not showed up until now. It was supposed to look like this. Okay, so some of us here who have been consistent. Sorry. Let me take this out. Some of us here uh, who are pretty consistent understand what I'm looking for here. So I want price to break out the key level, break back in, and then give us a retest. So I'm looking for that break and retest here at the key level. So when price came down here, it just found support. It did not give the pattern. So maybe we'll still have the pattern. Just maybe it would mean that the dollar will have to continue to weaken, which is quite surprising. But just maybe we'll still have the pattern. So until that shows up, I'm not so interested in looking for any opportunity on UJ. For me, it hasn't done much. AUD card is pulling back today. On Friday last week, we saw the Canadian dollar gain strength, so much strength, and I think some of us who are holding pound card and euro card, I think you must have seen a little decline in your portfolio. That's because the Canadian dollar gained so much strength. But today now, it's losing all the strength again, which is quite surprising. But you can see from the right hand side, all of these guys are in greens because they are all gaining strength against the Canadian dollar. The only guy in red is US card, of course, because the US dollar is much weaker than the Canadian dollar. But that's pretty much what is going on. But still, long term, I still expect downside continuations on AD card. The lower high still seems to be forming around this region, like we have said, and it just might continue. It might stop for a bit, but overall, I still expect downside continuations. Of course, I'm not short. I'm not short at the moment. I took shots here and held all the way to take profit, which we closed, and now this is just a pullback. So nothing for me right now. Euro card. This is where I stay long. Yep, colors.
Good evening.
Yeah, even how are you?
Please, can you go over to AD card? I'm good.
All right. AUD card. Let's see. Yep.
Okay. Please, can you spot the point you took the shots from, like the shot that really did play it out? Is it from the point you have that lower high?
No, it was way back in November. So I think it was something around here. I think it was something like this.
Okay. Is that trend line I'm seeing there?
Yeah, it is. It is a trend line. Yes.
Using it for anything, or you are just putting it out there?
I just put it there. I was trying to like fizzle out, like it was kind of forming like this channel pattern. I don't really use trend lines to analyze the market, not much.
Okay.
I just did. I think I removed this guy, but I didn't remove the last one. But yeah, I just put it there. It's not like it affected my outlook on the trade. Yes, it did not.
Okay.
So
I
maybe
see.
I'm
Taking the shot from the is it the lower high? Is that lower low? After the lower high, the other place you're having the level that you put in your arrow, that it might probably decline from there. Taking shots from there wouldn't be a bad idea, I guess so.
No, it wouldn't. Of course not.
But
It would
that's
not be a bad idea.
what you personally would do. I would be expecting you taking the shots from the zone there. I think 0.920000 thereabout. Because I'm saying that the trend line is pretty much respecting that zone. But now my question is this: if price happens to pull back to the zone, would you be waiting for the exact same pattern, like break above, then break in, confirmation before you go short, or for the fact that trend line is in support of that level, you just take the short immediately?
No, I would wait for the same pattern. You see, like I said before, I don't really use trend lines as a reason to get in or out of trades.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So you see, it's the exact same pattern I waited for here, right? To hit the key level, break up, break back in retest. So it's the same thing I'll do here. As long as it hit the key level, that's the rule, right? As long as it hit the key level and comes back, I would need to wait for that pattern. That's it.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. So that's if we come back here. I mean, I don't know if we would, but so far we're still like in line for like more downside. So unless something changes, then that's when we'll come back here. But I don't really see that happening, to be honest.
Yeah, of course, of course, of course.
All right. Now Eurocard, long on Eurocard, but this last month, yes, the month of May. So far we're in profit, just a little bit in profit. But yeah, so far so good. Let's see how Eurocard plays out. Will it stop us out? Will it play out? I mean, who knows? We'll find out, right? We'll find out. Pound card is very interestingly, pound card did not break out last week. In fact, like I said before, there was a pullback in the card pairs, so pound card was also affected by it. So we didn't see that breakout, and so far it's looking like it might form a double top. Maybe it is,
Casey,
or
sorry, your screen is blank, so I don't know if I'm the only one or okay, it's just coming up now.
is it still blank right now?
No, it's okay now. It was actually dark before.
Yes, clear. Now it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay now.
I think the screen lacks it lacks from the voice. The voice goes ahead of the screen.
Okay, so are you guys saying that it's still doing that thing it does sometimes? Like it will go black, come back.
Yeah, it came in, but now it's okay now.
All right. Okay. I'm yet to figure out why this happens because I changed my screens multiple times, and I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why, but I think I'll figure out why that's happening. But yeah, let's move on. So pound card, like I said, there was a pullback, so no breakout. It did not. It was breaking out when I gave the update, but it failed to close above. But that's okay. Let's see what June holds up for us. Maybe we'll get a breakout, or maybe we'll pull back. We'll find out. Hopefully, we get a breakout because, like I said before, if we do get a breakout, it just puts us in line for the next key level as take profit. We've been patient enough. I think this trade has not even taken that long compared to some other trades, and the reward is huge. It's a 1-to-6, so I think we can still wait for this guy to play out. NZ card, yeah, interestingly, is coming back to the entry. I think that's okay because some new accounts and portfolios I'm looking to manage, I might look to just get N card in at this price. Of course, I would love to sell here, which was my original plan, but I'm not sure how if this will come back. I'm not sure. So I think I'm just get. So that's the fine. I mean, the pullback is. I've been waiting for this. Hopefully, I mean, all of these weeks, quite frankly, I've been waiting. It just never came to an entry, but maybe it would now, and maybe I'll get involved for shorts. But I'm still looking to short N card. Still same idea, right? Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Yep.
Okay. Concerning the shorts, would it be on your same account, the one you just showed before chat, that you'll be taking the short,
No,
or a different account?
A different account entirely, not the same account, of course. I'm already short on this account, so
yeah, of course. Because what I'm saying is, that would mean that it's not this system that you're trading, because we're not saying you're taking the shots from there. I don't know how to put it, but if I may say, no matter how it happens, because as you do say, it should always happen from the key level. And the point you took it from, I think somewhere around last year, it's kind of a missed like entry, because you have taken it's like it was late. So taking from that point again, I'm not really seeing it as one of the best options you get. And to me personally, as I'm seeing NC, whatever will make NC pull back to that zone. The zone is strong, so when it is It's like suddenly I'm seeing above maybe a test of the key level again. So I'm just saying, because we all know that this is not something that we personally would do. So that was why I have to speak on it.
Okay, but to be honest, not much is changing, right? Remember, like I said, it's a late entry. The fact that I sold here in October is very late. I was supposed to have my shorts all the way up here, but I missed it, so that's why I sold here. So most of the accounts I manage at this point all have entries right here. That's the only reason why I'm looking to add to the new accounts here at the same price. Okay. Or I can just wait, right? I can do this, or I would wait for. Sorry, let's take that up. So either I just get involved here, or I have to wait for price to come back to the original entry. It's just my decision. But since all my accounts have entries around this price, I just take it here. I'd rather take it here. But because again, we don't know for certain if it will come back here. We're not sure. But that's still fine because the risk reward is still fine. I have a minimum of like a 1 to 2 on the trade idea. So it's not like I'm changing anything. It will still be like the same risk. It's just a different account. That's it. That's it. So,
Of course, no problem.
yeah. So again, like I said, not much is changing. I've been holding short since October, still short. And yeah, let's see. I'm just looking to add if it comes back. USD card, I was expecting a breakout, and of course, it's not happening because the dollar is weak. So I still think it would break out. It might just take more time, but at some point, I think we're going to get the breakout. So let's just sit tight. Okay, here's the card. A breakout, of course, the retest go long, but that'll take some time. Euro AUD, nothing for me. Euro NZD, nothing for me as well. I was looking at the monthly time frame to see how we closed, and yeah, it's still the same thing with last month. Sorry, with April. Okay, so not exactly like a breaker that I would look out for. Okay, so to be honest, nothing for me. Okay, I'll still have to wait for June to present the breakout. So there's nothing. All right. Pound AUD is so far still far away from the key level. I was expecting the retest to complete, and I've been waiting for that, but so far it hasn't happened. So maybe I would miss it, or let's not say miss it. Maybe it won't come back to give me the opportunity I'm looking for. Maybe it'll just pop up from here, or maybe, just maybe, it might come back and retest the key level. Let's see. Pound NZD is in a little bit of drawdown, just a little bit. Now this trade is stressing us out, of course. I think most of us took longs in March, others took longs in May. We've been long, and yeah, pound NZD is like I think if I look at the portfolio now, it is the only trade in a little bit of drawdown. Yes, just a little bit. Every other trade is well in profit. Just pound NZD is in a little bit of drawdown, and that's okay. That's fine. Let's see. Will you eventually stop out, or will it just turn around and still play out? Now, I think if you look across board, you find out that the New Zealand dollar is strong. It has some strength. So you see that play out in NCAD. You see that even though these are all in greens, NCAD is like the highest, followed by NCAD followed by AD card, because the New Zealand dollar is strong as well as the Australian dollar. These two currencies are quite strong at the moment. I think it won't last as much, but that's the reality of the situation.
Yeah, of course. We saw that. I think started this week. Market open in the day, and was gaining strength. I saw that as well. I'm looking out for sales on NU, but so far so good. Like it's not getting to respect the zone there. So that's just it. So
Yeah.
See how long it will actually stay. So if it will continue or like kind of short term.
I'm not sure yet, quite frankly. But yes, the zone on NU is kind of giving away at them. I think we're coming to that, but I'm not sure. I think it should be short term. But I mean, anything can happen, right? Anything can happen. But I still think it's short term. Let's come down. Let's come down to it. So AUD USD is still at the zone, right? Still at the zone. NU, however, is breaking out. So I mean, if he comes back here, I won't be mad. To be honest, if he comes back, I won't be mad because it just gives me another opportunity to sell. Look at that, I missed this, right? I think just like I missed NZD card, I missed this entirely. This was a beautiful opportunity to sell NZD USD. I didn't. I only sold AU. I missed NU, so I sold AU around this price here, closed out down here, which was fine. I mean, we saw that we took profit on this, but NU because it set up a little earlier, just like AUD card and NZD card, same thing. So I was late on NU, but like it's so late I couldn't even find an entry, right? So late. But that's the reality of the situation. Like I said, I missed it, and it was huge. It was massive. Right? Look at this dump. It was massive. So if it comes back here, I won't be mad because it just gives me another opportunity to sell. But overall, I think this is range. Right? I think this is range. I don't think we're making it past this. It will be a disaster for the US economy. I don't think that's happening. That's just, I'm not speaking on from a reality perspective, like a real life standpoint. For this to happen, for us to see, it means the dollar has to break down. And in the long term, tariffs are supposed to help the US economy, right? The dollar itself. So in the long term, this happening is not really feasible. It can happen, of course. Nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is certain in the markets. But I think that maybe if we get up here, we might just still turn around to the downside. Overall, I'm expecting downside continuations on most of these pairs. So EU as well. So currently long, break and retest. And again, EU is playing out. And I think you guys see it, like I said before in the last session, you guys see it happening. The fact that no matter how you feel about an idea, no matter how much you think it would not work out, you just keep your feelings aside and take trades exactly as your system is designed, because it presented EU and it also presented USDCHF. Now, these are two opportunities that I honestly felt would not play out. Of course, they are not guaranteed to play out yet, but the point is they are playing out as we speak. So if I did not take these trades because I already concluded that they were going to stop out, how would I feel how would I feel right now? I would not really be happy with myself, and I would of course be losing confidence in my system. But you see that I took the trades, irrespective of how I felt. I took the trades, and they're playing out. They are currently playing out. So this is just to tell you that you have your feelings. You will feel however you want to feel, but the market is the market. You cannot decide where the market is going to go. So even though I think the dollar will gain strength, it can just pop back here and then turn around. Who knows? But the point is, it's a break and retest. It fits the plan. I took it, and right now, it's playing out. And I think that's about it. Also, if you look at the monthly time frame, I was expecting this monthly candle to close bearish. This guy, like close bearish, to kind of negate the idea, because if it closed bearish, that would mean that this breakout was like a fake out, but it didn't. It in fact closed bullish. That's what one thing I was keen on seeing. It in fact closed bullish. Of course, it's still not a guarantee, but this just shows you that so far, upsides are like very much on the cards, and yeah, long. Pound USD as well also closed above the key level, which means any pullbacks, and I'll be looking for longs, even though I selected dollar strength. That's just the point. So we closed above the key level, so a retest here, and I would love to take longs to the upside. Will it play out? That's what we'll find out. And then NU, I think we spoke about this guy, and yeah. So yes, it's breaking out. And even though I expect more downside continuations, so far it may not be happening. But of course, we still have to allow time to pass to be sure if this is a breakout or if this week will close back below the key level. I mean, the end of the week will tell us. So the Swiss franc pairs, nothing too interesting to be honest. ADCHF, CAT CHF, US, nothing interesting about all these guys, only except USDCHF. So exactly. So same thing I said with EU. It presented a break and retest here, and I sold, even though I felt like it may stop out because of dollar strength. Also because the key level we're dealing with at the time is a very important one, and one that price had not broken in years, in decades, in fact. So when this breakout happened, I was expecting maybe a pullback, not really a pullback, but like a candle to break back above the key level to signify that this is a fake out. But it didn't happen, right? You see that we're still heading to the downside. So it might stop out or it might play out. We'll find out. So that's what I have for currencies. Metals are crazy. I think so. If you guys don't have any questions, let's just make sure. If you guys don't have any questions here, we can move over to indices because metals are running well. Metals are running well. Any questions here?
I think just to add to something, just as I was talking about NC earlier on. So like, personally, I think that what's about to happen to NU might probably happen to NC as well, like the zone. Just as I said, maybe anything back to the zone should be like maybe a second test to the key level, something like that. Just as you're expecting on NU. So that's it.
Okay. All right. Yes. Same thing. Same thing I said. Same thing I said. Thanks for that input. So yeah, any questions before we move over to indices? Just making sure we're all clear on this. Kike, how are you finding the session so far? Are you grasping what we're doing? Is this a little difficult for you?
Well, I'm trying to get what the whole idea is about. I'll give you my review after the class.
All right, that's okay. So yeah, let's move on then. We move over to indices. I was having a look at these guys, and remember that we did not take some of them because of the risk. And even though most of them are playing out right now, we didn't take some of them. I had a look at this guy. I think maybe we would have just added this guy. Just maybe. Oh, of course, I'm just saying this in hindsight, but even though I wouldn't have taken like all 7 of them, because all 7 of them are currently playing out, quite frankly. But maybe, just maybe would have added this guy. I mean, it feels like free money that we missed out on. But yeah, it's okay. So just to go back on the trade ideas we had, it was AP, which was the Australian 200. This is like the futures for it. AP, we had the S&P. We're currently long on this guy right now. France 40. We're currently long on this guy as well. What else? This guy as well. We didn't take this guy. This is for the Hong Kong, like the Hong Kong ETF. We didn't take this, but it was also on the cards. IBEX 35. This is the Spain index that tracks like the top 35 companies in Spain. Yeah. So we didn't take this guy as well, but it's playing out. Now the DAX, of course, we missed out on the DAX. It pulled back, and yeah, just a little bit before moving, and that's okay. What else? Yes, the Nikkei. We also did not take this guy. For those of you who might ask, this is like for Japanese stocks, so it's like an index that tracks like the top 225 companies in Japan. So just like that in various countries. So we also did not take this guy. We took this guy, however, the Nasdaq. Now another reason why I took the S&P, France 40, and the Nasdaq is that I think these are like the most assets I've traded, the most indices I've traded or indexes I've traded amongst the lists, right? So I have more confidence with them. Although yes, they set up better, true, but I've traded the Nasdaq more often, the S&P more often, and then the France 40 as well. I think some of us here bought this guy the last time. So I think I bought here in November. Yes, I bought here and closed out here in March. So I think some of us were part of this move, just beautiful. So I have more confidence trading these guys than the others. Also, like I referred to as well, the risk management is something I was looking at, because if they all dump, they dump together because of like the current theme of the market. So holding all 7 positions would be very drastic, because it means that you might lose 7% in a day or in a week. That's quite drastic. Now, of course, it means that by leaving some trades, some positions out, you miss out on wins, but that's still okay. I mean, at the end of the day, you're a risk manager. You're not trying to. In other words, by taking all of these guys, you're basically risking 7% on a position to an extent, if that makes sense. So when you think about that, no matter how beautiful the reward looks, you also want to look at your drawdown. Nobody wants to lose 7% in a week. That's like a dent in your portfolio. And like I said before, I take drawdowns very seriously. They are so serious to me. And yeah, I think this explanation kind of makes sense. But the three we currently have are well in profit. They're doing well, and yeah, we'll just keep holding. I think that's about it. Any other guys setting up? Not really. Not really. They have to pull back for me to get involved with some others, and it's not happening. Right? Gold. Interestingly, captain here. Oh, sweet, captain's here. So, captain, I think you were long gold, right? If I'm correct.
Yeah,
So, are you still long? Are you
I'm still long on gold.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
that's
still long
crazy.
on
So,
gold.
how's your portfolio looking there?
Yeah, good actually. Gold is just heading to the sky. So
Yeah.
actually, I already like taking. I think I've exited one of the trade because I entered gold in like 4 different accounts. So one is
Okay.
already one we should two already. So I just took out that one, but I'm still waiting. It's heading to I think that next 34.40. That's my next take profit. Then the other
Okay.
take profit is 36.00. So that's what I'm waiting for.
That's a new all-time high that you're expecting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. I remember when you bought gold down here, and I think we had a question of this being a double top, and I explained that yes, it is. It was forming a double top at the time, but to confirm it, we needed a price to break this guy, break below this guy. If it didn't, that would mean that this might just be a higher low for the next higher high. And so far, that's what it's looking like. I mean, we need to break the highs to confirm this higher low, but so far that's what it's looking like. And the question now is, are we going to break out for a new all-time high, or is the market going to stall here for a triple top? So is the market going to find resistance here and form a triple top, or will it break out? That's what God will, of course, tell us in the near future. So let's stay patient. I think not everyone here is buying gold. I'm not also buying gold as well. I was hoping to get my entries down here, but kind of it didn't happen, right? So I think just a few of us are like long on gold, but yeah, that's okay. We'll see. All right.
Yeah.
All right. And
Okay.
yeah, colors.
Okay. You know, you are waiting for. Can I see the point you're waiting for again, please?
Um, down here.
That's 275 2.9. Good. Um, like had it been that there was an opportunity provided at that point, like a proper retest for you to take the loans, I believe by now
Yeah.
you would have been out of the trade. You get the point. So, like to me personally, I was kind of thinking like yesterday. I think you should have though gold don't have any key level like above 2752.9. I think you must have had a new key level maybe as excuse me, the fifth extension or something, like the point you would have actually hesitated if at all it provided an opportunity to go long at that year. You understand? So at this point, because me personally, I'm not seeing gold dumping so hard to 2752. So that's why I was thinking maybe currently we should not be working the new level. I don't know if you get what where I'm coming from. Though I'm long from that the weekly support from the weekly.
Okay.
I think we should have a new level that we should be with like currently. because personally, I'm not seeing gold dumpings that had like that much decline on gold. So that's it. So
Of
I don't
course,
know if you can speak on that.
I get what you're saying. You're raising a valid point. And the thing is, what is going through the minds of some traders here is, what if it doesn't pull back to this key level? What if it just continues to the upside, right? And what happens then? I think that's the big question. So it doesn't need to. It doesn't necessarily need, okay. It doesn't necessarily need to pull back for me to look for an opportunity. I am also looking at the highs right now. Okay, these highs. I'm gonna have to clear this just to make it make sense. I'm also looking at these highs right now. Okay, but then I would want the market to completely find resistance here, because on the money time frame, I need to see resistance first. Okay? It doesn't really matter what the condition is. I need to see resistance on the monthly, and so far this is proving to be the resistance. Remember, we've not broken out yet. So what it means is, if the market chooses to really find resistance around this level, okay, and stalls for like a month or two, okay, before breaking out, then I will use this as my new key level. The thing is, I need to pick out the key level from the monthly, okay. I need to pick it up from the monthly, so it doesn't need to pull back to find support. Okay, it doesn't. I hope you guys are getting the point.
Yeah, I remember you talked about that at this 2752.9. The resistance you're talking about is getting to see a bearish candle, showing you that okay, this is where the market is showing resistance. I think that's what you're talking about, because you made
Yeah,
explanation in this previous key level that you need to see some
exactly.
kind of. Okay. So
So
so far
it
so
may not necessarily be, yeah, it may not necessarily be a bearish candle, like 3-4 bearish candles. I just need to see it stall. So for example, if this month rejects here and the next month breakout, it means for 3 months we had rejections at the level, right? So it may not necessarily need to print out so many bearish candles because not every key level would show you bearish candles first. Price might just stall there for like a month or two, just like it's doing now. But I need to see it happen first before we think of this as a key level. That's the difference. So if you look between 2.7 and right here, we've not had that. Okay, the market has not really found resistance. So I need gold to truly find the resistance on the monthly, all right, before breaking out. Once it does that, I pick out a new key level and then I use that. So that's like the only difference. That's the only reason why I'm not long yet. And then just to make it make sense, gold is one of the markets, right? It's not the only market to trade, and I don't really want to be bending my rules just because of gold. All right. So also, like I said before, I'm also working on other systems that allows me to trade without just using key levels. Okay, I'm not done with those things. That's like in the background. And yeah, once these things are successful, I will of course pull these things out and show you guys. But again, for this system, this is how I approach code. And yeah, I think that kind of explains the points. Well, yeah, thanks for pointing that out. I think some traders here might have asked the question or wondered. And again, let's just find out. I won't want to put a key level just yet. So let's see how good reacts to these highs. If it breaks out for a new all-time, that's fine. If it stalls for a bit from the triple top and moves sideways before breaking, that's still fine. Whatever the case, I'll see what happens, and then I think we can move from there. Copper, yeah, interestingly, copper pushed into profit today. I think it has even pulled back. I think at some point today it was up 5%. It was crazy. Now look at this. All metals, the current metals I have right here, like running wild. Gold, copper, palladium, platinum, and silver. So as at my update on Friday, copper was at break even. Right now is up, I don't know, almost 1%. So yeah. Palladium as well was at break even, but right now it's also slightly in profit, which is cool. Platinum just a little bit.
Chris,
Yep.
should we be expecting a reversal on platinum because we brought up the price where the price has been reacting for the past few months. So should we be expecting a reversal at
Yeah.
this point?
Well, is it possible that price can reverse? It can. Should I be expecting a reversal? I think. I mean, I'm long, so I should expect anything from platinum. But I would hold my trade. I would hold it. I know why you're asking. You're long on platinum as well, so yeah, it's a good question to ask. But do I know for certain what happens to platinum? Of course not. I don't. The question is, will the market be bold enough to break this time, or will it come back or break even? Who knows? The only way to answer the question is to hold, right? So only holding can give us the exact answer we're looking for. So will it reverse and come back to break even, or will it break out? Let's see. Time will answer the question. But yes, I'm long. Okay, that's the thing. I'm long, and I would hold the trades. I don't know. I think platinum can dare to break out. I think he can. Let's find out. Let's find out. And then silver, also very interestingly, is pushing really hard. Today as we speak, up about 5%. I think it's now leading the pack because earlier today it was copper, and now it's silver. I was looking at this market earlier today, and yeah, crazy. Silver would also attempt the breakout. As you can see, it is coming back to the key level, and I've missed silver quite frankly because it was such a smooth trade. The last time I bought here was in August, closed in October. It was smooth, very smooth. Held it for like quite a month, but yeah, it played out really nice. And since then, I've not really had the opportunity to like swing this bad boy. But we're having most likely we'll have a breakout. Maybe I don't know. But if it does break out, that would be fire. Because the next key level I'm aiming for is way up here. So yeah, that would be nasty. So let's see. If it does break out, of course, we'll wait for a pullback and then try to swing this. But yeah, it will take some time. Let's see. Or maybe it won't. Maybe it would come here and find resistance and then pull back. Who knows? Let's just find out. So I think this is the most I have. And I think just look at the futures. This is DXY or the dollar index. And yeah, it did not break back above the key level. So this is the dollar index on its own, the futures though. But it didn't break back above the key level. And remember, we need the dollar to break back above the key level to not confirm, but to add confluence to the strength of the US dollar. But so far, it's not happening. Instead, we tried to break, but closed below the key level. That's some interesting price action. And now we're heading down. It looks like we're coming down to 96. It looks like it. And if it does come down, it means EU will play out. And maybe USDF would be close to playing out. But if the month turns bullish and it breaks back above, it means EU will stop out and maybe USDF as well. We'll find out, right? There's nothing to create. At the end of the day, we're not necessarily risking too much. We're not over leveraging. So if EU and USDF decide to stop, that's only a 2% loss. And I think, like I said before, it's fine. One reason why I say it's fine is it's been a while since I took a loss. I think it was way back in April, right? And I've recorded only 4 losses this year. Yeah, I'm proud to say that. And if I take an extra 2, that's okay. that's okay. So yeah, I think this is all I have for you guys today. No, not all I have, but for the charts, yes. I want to speak on any questions.
Yeah. You were saying that if you should be around to break above 100, that EU and you see might probably stop out. I don't see EU stopping out because the euro is actually on fire. Like, so maybe dollar gaining strength and euro on fire as well. We'll just see what happens. Maybe if it's the Swiss franc, for the euro, I actually give it to the dollar.
Is the euro really on fire though?
Of course it is, because like where what's it called, the Swiss franc is pushing down the USD, trying to show us that the Swiss franc is actually on fire. When you check the euro CHF like this morning, and it was quite on green, like the percent is quite on green. So that's why I'm saying that euro is actually doing well.
Yeah, well,
I don't. Casey,
Your captain.
Carlos, I really don't think euro is that on fire. I think other currencies um are just weaker than euro. That's
Weaker.
what I think.
Exactly.
If you check
That's where.
euro NZD, yeah, and I think
Go
euro
ahead, captain.
pound.
Go
I
ahead.
think the pound is weak. That's why euro pound. I think the pound is weak. That's why the pair is already going up. So that's what I think.
Yeah. And this is what I was trying to say about currency strength. It is relative. Okay, it's not fixed. It is a currency is strong depending on the other currency you're trying to compare it with. So currency strength is for the most part relative. So if we actually look at the fundamental data, Europe is not looking too good. Okay, quite frankly, I didn't want to delve too much into this, but Europe is not looking too good. First of all, the ECB, the European Central Bank, is looking to cut interest rates. Inflation is not the best. GDP also declined. Most countries in Europe, Germany being one of the biggest countries in Europe, seeing some contraction. I think France as well. It's not. I mean, it's not really the best. All right, it's not. It's not really the best. Europe is not looking too good. I mean, if you look at the fundamentals, I'm from what I'm understanding my research, it might look like Europe might see some decline actually. Okay, so I'm just speaking of like forward guidance, like as time goes on. So if we're looking at EU being strong, it is mainly because of the dollar weakness. That's it. Mainly because of the dollar weakness, not necessarily that euro on its own has gained so much strength. Like Captain highlighted, if you come down to euro AUD and euro NZD, you can see that both of them are in red. So if the euro is on fire, it is against the dollar, but not really against AD and NZD. And then the thing is, when we're speaking of strength, I think we want to look at the long-term projection because we don't just want to look at how the currency is looking on that particular day because these things move based on sentiment. So, like I said, the New Zealand dollar is strong, okay, but that's today, all right. That's today. That's like the last few weeks, but long term, is it really stronger than the British pound? No. But as we speak today, pound entered in red. So because of that, we really say that the New Zealand dollar is on fire. It is today, yes, but if you look at the two economies, it's not really much better than the pound. You get. So I think that's something we keep in mind. Sometimes when you see greens on TradingView, check one currency is weaker than the other or one currency is stronger than the other. It's usually one of those two things. Another thing that can help you understand what is going on well is if you look at across board. So if you come to TradingView, maybe look at the dollar. If you see all of them are in greens, it's most likely because the dollar is weak. Okay, you come here and then they're all in greens, but then you notice that NU is up 1.39%. That means even though they are all stronger than the dollar, NZD looks to be the strongest. But is that the case for real? You come down to a different set of pairs. NZD GPY here is in green, and it is higher than 80 GPY, which means the New Zealand dollar is stronger. You come down to NZD card, you find out that they're all in greens, but then NZD card is up 1.03%, which means it is higher than the rest. Which means if you look at across board, it looks like the New Zealand dollar is strong. You get. So that's what helps you kind of decipher if, and this is just sentiments though, but this kind of helps you decipher to some extent the strength on that particular currency pair. So I think that kind of helps out. So yeah. All right. I was supposed to speak on support and resistance a little bit and key levels, just to speak on them a little bit. So one question was raised in one of our previous sessions, and the question, I think it was when we were reviewing Carlos John. I think that was you. It was a journal we're looking at, and then I think someone asked the question, and it was, I think it was Damien. I'm not so sure, but I remember the question was asked, and I said we're going to discuss this. So the thing that was asked that day is, how do we know that a daily level is different from a weekly level, and how do we draw the levels and kind of differentiate? So I want to just use some examples to highlight these points to see if they make sense to you. So let's look at gold. Okay, this is gold on the daily time frame, and to make sure we're on the same page, do we all agree that this highlighted rectangle is a resistance level right here? This one. Do we all agree that this is a resistance level right there?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Carlos is of the opinion that Carlos is of the opinion that it is a resistance level. That's fine. Okay, Kike, can you what do you think?
Price has rejected twice at that level, and even though it's bullish now, it may reject again at that level. It's a level to watch out for.
Interesting. That's very correct. So I think we all share their sentiments, Kiki and Carlos, that is a resistance level. They were rejected twice, so it might reject again, or it might break out. Either ways, it is. But now here's where it gets interesting. So you guys should just take a screenshot in your eyes, in your mind's eye, and let's move over to the weekly time frame. I want you guys to notice the difference. Okay. So we come down, or no, we come up to the weekly time frame. Do you still see this as a resistance level? Yes, it is on the daily, but do you still see the same thing on the weekly?
No, at all. No level there.
That's right. That's right.
Look like it.
Carlos.
There is no level there at all. Like there is no level to put it out the weekly at that bar at the rectangle there.
All right, thank you. Yeah, Kike, go ahead. I think you were saying something.
It does not look like it anymore. It looks like
Wonderful.
a continuation of the trend line.
Good. Anybody who has a different opinion, a contrary view to this?
Kazi, I didn't get a question here. I lost connection for some few minutes, so I don't know if you can recap.
Okay. So, all right. So my question is this: when we look at gold on the daily, this is your resistance level at the top. Okay. Do you agree? I think that's like the first thing. Do you agree that this is your resistance level? Do you see that? Do you see? Okay. And the question now is, if we come up to the weekly time frame, does this level still look like a resistance level on the weekly time frame?
Nah. So, so
Exactly.
if you use the use of the candlesticks, it doesn't look bad. If you use the wicks, it's somewhat close to being a resistance level. But if you use the close of the candlesticks, it's not.
All right. That's the point. So now, all right. So someone else just answer the question. Would you call this a weekly resistance level or a daily resistance level? Which one is? Where does it fall under? Where would this fall under now? A weekly resistance level.
The daily.
Exactly. So you see now, I think it becomes clear to us. I think I can't remember who asked the question, but we're all learning. It becomes clear to us that a level can be a resistance on one time frame and not be on the other. So now let's look for a different example. Let's see. So this was on the monthly. Now I think I found one. Yeah, CHFGPR. That's exactly this guy. So this level or this bar highlighted here at the top, would you agree that it's a resistance level? Who would like to share his or her opinion? CHFGPR. Do you agree that this is a resistance level?
Yeah, personally, I would say that that's the resistance level. Though what happened initially, I might call that a fake out or something. But it's pretty much looking like a resistance level.
Hmm. Thank you so much. Anybody here who has a different opinion, just please air your opinion. That's fine. Do you also see this as a resistance level? All right. So it looks like we all
I don't know. I may be wrong, but
okay.
this is almost looking like a core pattern to me. If I'm going to ignore that trend line that you have initially,
Sorry,
and
please come again.
it's almost looking like a core pattern to me. If I want to ignore the trend line that you have initially, right? There's a sort of double bottom here, and I still don't understand where that those candles are going to. But for that
Okay.
one to be for it to be a resistance level,
Now this is the level I'm speaking of. This one right
yes,
here.
that place where you have the plus sign, right? Yes.
Yeah, this one. This is the level I'm speaking of. So
Okay.
do you also see this as a resistance level? Do you think this level acted as resistance or it's acting as resistance?
Sort of, but I'm not sure it's bringing to the
Okay.
continuation.
Okay. All right. But what we're taking here is so far it's looking like it's a resistance level, or at least we can see that price did reject this area multiple times. Now, if we come down to the daily time frame, maybe this would help you out a bit. So let's isolate the level we're speaking of, and yeah, okay. So this looks like a resistance, right?
It's more like
All right. So you notice, okay, so you notice that the level is a resistance on the weekly, and also on the daily time frame, right? So you can see that it's a weekly resistance level, but also appears on the daily. So it appears both on the daily and on the weekly time frames. However, gold did not appear on the weekly, but it appeared on the daily. So you see now that these levels are kind of different. Okay, this level is much stronger than the level we have on gold because this appears on the daily and yet appears on the weekly. But here's the interesting thing: I would want to come back to the weekly first, but then I want to scale up to the monthly. And please, I want you to just see if you take this as a screenshot in your mind's eye before we move on to the monthly time frame. Um, if I would take this guy out, would you, at first glance, decide that the level is a resistance level? Would you do that?
Yes, of course. I would consider that as a resistance level, though, because when initially price broke above, though you're not hitting any level at the moment, you know, I would actually want to consider the point you're having the zero, that is 180.190 as the level. Not until price now happen to do this, because looking at that place, you see much of the week there, and not just the week. You would see body close or something. So it would actually be considered as a monthly resistance as well. To me
Uh,
personally, yeah. To me,
all right, all right.
yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else
That's
with a different opinion? Thank you, Carlos. Anybody who has a different opinion, would you, at first glance, come here on CJJPY and consider this as a resistance level? Would you do that? If not, where would you rather place your resistance level? So do we all agree with colors? All right. Okay. But here's the interesting thing with CHF GPY. It is quite debatable, but it is not the strongest resistance on the monthly. Okay, it is not. To a great extent, one would want to rather keep this as the highs, just use this as the previous highs, because this appears as a resistance, but it is only so sure if you scale down to the weekly. What I'm trying to say here is, when you come down to CHF JPY, you would most likely have confidence that this is a resistance when you scale down to the weekly, not just on the money time frame. So you see that it appears as a resistance mainly on the weekly time frame, not really on the monthly. If that makes sense. My point here with CHF JPY is this level would not really be considered as the monthly level of resistance, right? A level of resistance on the time frame would be very clear, very glaring. You don't need to step down to a different time frame to confirm if the level is a level on that time frame, unless you're dealing with a key level. But like just levels of support and resistance that you're just trying to draw will be very evident on the time frame you're looking at. So do I have a different example? I think I looked at a couple before today. Let me see. I looked at a couple before today. Yeah, NZDC. I think I had this. All right, good. So let's look at this guy. This horizontal bar down here. Right now it is a, I don't know, since price is broken below it, we'll call it a resistance level. But let me take you guys a little. Let's take back. Let's go back. All right. So, wow, also the watermark. That's okay. So before the breakout, I think we can just call this support, right? Because yeah, price did break out. Let's see. Yeah, that's it. So we can say price did break this gas support on the weekly, right? Do we share the same sentiment?
Yeah, sure, we do. Of course.
All right. But then interestingly, if we come up to the money time frame, do we still regard the bar as a support level?
No, at all.
Exactly. So the point that we get here is, as you scale up the time frames, the levels begin to differ. Okay, the levels begin to differ, and that's why you can see some levels are daily levels, another levels are weekly levels, another levels are monthly levels. Okay, but as you move up the time frames, as you move up the higher you move up, the stronger the levels you're dealing with. So you see why I rather prefer to start from the highest level possible or the highest time frame possible I can look at, which is a 12 month. In fact, if TradingView were to give me 24 months, I'll do that. All right, but it doesn't. 12 months is the highest. That's like a 1 year period. That's what I do, and that's why I scale down to the 3 months. Now, the levels I picked on these time frames are levels that are not just for me like from the last 2 years. These levels, in most cases, go back decades. 3-4 decades, right? 30-40 years ago, before most of us were even born, in the 1980s, 1970s. That's where most of these levels stem from. So that's why I use those levels as the reasons why I get in and out of trade. Is why I would be called a position trader, if you may. I mean, I don't really give a name to it, but yeah, I think that's like the name attached to such length of time for holding trades. But this is a clear example to differences. So what am I trying to say? What I'm saying here, or the point here is, if I am looking for a level to trade from, okay, so some of us here who don't just use key levels, who just draw levels to use of support and resistance. If you find a level on the weekly time frame, be rest assured that it is stronger than the level on the daily time frame. So here's the thing: I would not want to do this. Okay, I would not want to come here on the I would not want to come here on the weekly time frame and draw a level here, and then come on the daily and try to draw another daily level, right? This, in my opinion, is wrong. This, in my opinion, is not good trading practice. If there's a level here or here on the weekly time frame, I do not really see the need for you to draw a daily level very close to the weekly level, because to a great extent, unless it's like very far apart, to a great extent, the level on the weekly pretty much covers for that on the daily. So it is not the best trading practice to draw a daily level and in the same breath trying to draw a weekly level in the same area. You just want to go up to the weekly time frame, draw it, and then just decide that is the level. Okay, I have an example here with pound JPY. So let me take this guy out. Now, this is pound JPY on the weekly time frame, and this is why some of us might struggle with drawing levels. Okay, because of how we tend to draw them and the time frames we use to draw them. So this is pound JPY, and of course, if I am really higher time frames, I want to use key levels, but that's okay. That's a different ball game. Now, if I'm trying to draw levels on the weekly time frame, I will do something like this. I think this is like pretty obvious for a weekly level. Is that correct? Do you guys agree with this level?
Of course, we do.
Good, right? Anybody else who agrees that this is a level on the weekly time frame at least?
Yes, I agree.
All right, that is good. So we can agree that this is a level. If we also try to straighten our eyes, we might come to this guy here. Support as retest here, rejection, bounce, rejection, and bounce. We might also come down here to look for a level. Also, some might also want to do this. You see, that is where it becomes confusing, because you try to like, is this guy or is it this guy? But let's take this guy. All right, let's just take this guy. So we have two levels here on the weekly as support and resistance levels. All right, so we've done this, but now I want to show you something when we move up to the monthly. So if we scale up to the monthly, let's look at the first guy. Does this look as much as a resistance like it did on the weekly?
No, it doesn't look like that.
I would in a way consider, because it's kind of close, though it's not like really the best.
Good. It is close, but it's not the same. All right. It is not as clear as it is on the weekly time frame, right?
It's not
Exactly. So same thing goes for this other level down here. It is well, a level, but it's not so clear. I think the point is becoming very clear to us that it is not as clear on the monthly as it is on the weekly. But now let's do something interesting. If I'm trying to draw a monthly level instead, how would I approach that? Now in this case, we very sweetly have this guy. So I'm just going to borrow the price action from way back in 2015 as a basis to draw this. So this is a high around here, and if we stretch it to these guys, we now have a test of support here, a test of support here, a full range of motion, and then since March of 2025, we haven't broken above this level on the monthly time frame. Now, do you see how much chaos can come up if you're trying to do analysis like this? Because now you're not sure which levels to sell from, which levels to buy from. If we come down to the weekly time frame, they now all look like levels. Okay, this price action here that you didn't very well consider to be a resistance is now looking like a resistance because it comes from the monthly time frame. But now in the same breath, you're trying to wonder, I want to buy this. Sorry, let me keep this properly. In the same breath, you're thinking of this as a support to buy from, but then you remember that there's a resistance here. And then if you try to buy this if you try to buy this as a support, if it breaks out and retest, then you remember that there's another resistance here. So you're confused as to, okay, if I buy here, do I close here? Because if price gets here, it might react to this guy and it might stall, it might reverse. So if I buy here, I have to close here, or if I buy here, this is a problem. What do I do? Now, here's what I'll do personally. Done. Saves you the stress. Now, what I've done here is I have taken out the weekly levels and I have chosen to use the monthly level. Now, I'm not denying that price can get to this, especially this weekly level, and find resistance. Of course, it can. That's not what I'm saying. Let's do this. So I'm not denying that price cannot come here and find resistance. It can. But what I'm doing here, by choosing to trade just the monthly level, I am picking out confidence. I'm picking solidarity in this case. So it means that even if I buy from this level, even if it comes here, yes, it will find resistance, but overall, I expect that price will break it because this resistance is not as strong as this resistance right now. So my confidence would stem from buying from the monthly resistance, or in this case, it will be a support, right? After it breaks and retest. My confidence will be from buying this as a support and breaking this as resistance. So by doing this, you have saved yourself the stress. Sometimes you might feel overwhelmed by this level, but take it out. Just use the monthly. Now you can confidently try to look for buys and aim for the highs. It's not like you're denying that this can find resistance or reject as resistance. It can. But because you're choosing to trade this level, you no longer have to worry about this. And now you see why when I buy at key levels, I don't have any worries whatsoever about the levels in between. They're all levels. You can pick out these things as levels. Yes, they are. But you see that they're no match for the key levels. They are no match for the key levels. So if I buy at the key level, I don't have to worry about. Now I'm picking this level from like, let's go back. Let's just show you how far back this goes. Let's see the 6-month time frame. This guy goes as far back as 1992. Okay, 1992. It's a level on the 6-month time frame. Do we find it on the 12 months? I think we do. Yes. So it's a level on the 6 months, the 12 months, 3 months, the monthly, the weekly, daily. It's a level everywhere on all these time frames. So if I buy at this level, why on God's earth should I worry about this weekly time frame resistance when I am buying from a 12-month support? Do I have any reason to be worried about the resistance? Of course not. But is it resistance? Yes, it is. I don't deny that. I don't have to worry about it. So you guys, to some extent, you see where the confidence comes from. You see where I buy and why, even though there might be levels in between, I don't draw them because I don't use them. So if you're trading the weekly time frame, use weekly time frame levels. You don't have to worry about the daily time frame levels. If you're trading the monthly time frame, pick out the monthly levels, use them. Because by the time you begin to impute the weekly levels and daily levels, they might begin to confuse your analysis. You might begin to have too many levels to watch out for and to work with, and then it might begin to affect your performance. Also, you need to test all of these things out in your backtesting sessions before you bring them to the live market. It is these things that would make up your system. Because, like I said before, if you buy from a monthly level, then you don't have to worry about a daily level. If you've done the test before now, you shouldn't have to worry about daily levels. You get. So only when you've tested these things can you really find out if your system will trade weekly levels or daily levels or monthly levels or even 4-hour levels. You see, we don't just pick these things out because we feel like it. It has to be backed with data and stats. That's the only way you have confidence in your system. Like, again, you see why I speak with confidence, so much confidence, because I've done everything I need to do. Not everything, but like, yeah, for the most part, I've done the most. The test, everything is here. So I don't know if this is clear. Like, the levels, how to draw them, why this time frame is more important than the other. I think this, to some extent, should be clear.
So Kasi, which means the longer the time frame, that's the strongest of the support and the resistance.
Exactly. You get
I
the
understand.
longer the time frame, the stronger the levels. The stronger the exactly. But then you now see that the longer the time frame, the more patience is required for you, right? the higher the time frames, the more patience is required for you to trade. What it means is, if you want to trade the monthly time frame, you want to draw the monthly levels. Okay, what that would mean is I would now have to come and pick this guy down here. So if you are one who likes to trade the monthly time frames, the monthly key levels, that's fine. You can do that. Of course, you have to test these things out. But now, that is why when we have a break and retest here, and someone's asking, why wouldn't you buy this? And I'm like, it's not part of my system. You now see what I mean by it is not wrong. I think this makes more sense when I explain that it is not wrong. It is just not a part of my system. Because if I am trading monthly key levels, I will buy this. I will buy this as a break and retest. Absolutely. I just have to test it and impute it or include it as part of my system. Right now, it is not. So you get why I say that I would not buy this as a break and retest. It doesn't make it wrong. It doesn't make it bad. Okay? It's just not something I do with this system. So if price breaks out this level and pulls back, of course it's a fine idea. And that's why when some of us refer to some of the ideas, I think UJ, I think there was this level here. I think it was, this guy. So levels like this where we have a break and retest, it's not wrong to buy any of these levels, right? It's not. You just have to test them, check the win rate with these levels, and see if you can use them. That's it. It's not wrong. It's just not something I would do because of the current system I trade. So I think with this explanation of the levels and how they matter, you guys understand what I mean by I won't take it, but it's not wrong. It is just not part of my system. I think the phrase of these sentences make more sense now.
So which means the 1978 there were traders there which their data is still work as of today because
Yes.
the levels they left there is like it's still react at like 2025.
Exactly. So you see that a decade ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, that level was of importance, right? It just tells you that when price gets there, it just might be of importance again. So it's not something you want to neglect, okay? And there's a reason why they are now called key levels, because they go as far back as those times. That's why. So a level that just stemmed up from like 2020 or 2022, I would not really regard that as a key level, right? An example is USDC. So I will call it a key level now because it is the only level to work with. But if there were like other levels that stem from like 1980s or 1990s, I would prefer to use those levels than use this. The only difference is this is the current price action. This is like the strongest key level that's right here on USDC. Also, it shows up on the monthly time frame. It also shows up on the 3-month time frame. Oh, all right. Okay, you went back as 2011. All right, cool. But the point I'm making here is, if there is, I think you guys see this with like some of the indices I trade, right? If the level is just here, I will still trade it, like gold, for example. I will still trade it, but it's not going to be as strong as levels that go as far back as like maybe 10 years ago. So, for example, I think USDC did that. I think this was 2011. That's like 15 years. So I think the explanation makes sense now.
Please, Casey, can you go back to are you having any level at 197 points? 197.227, something like that. Because
197. You mean this guy here? This is 197. That this is 197. Like here.
I said GJ.
Oh, GJ. Oh shit, sorry. GJ 197. Nah, no levels there. I mean, it might be a level, but like it's not really like I wouldn't really consider it like a 3-month or 6-month level. That's it.
Okay, because I think what I'm considering is that level we were having as the weekly resistance. That's actually where I'm looking to from my.
So this is like This is like one. That's not 197. Then I think that's like 198. Between 190 and 199, I think that's like just in between there. So, it's a level I don't deny it. But yeah, I know
So my
so
question is, I think we most of the out this level. If I may ask, what's the best way taking out this level, like from the body? Is it to cover the body and part of the body, part of the week, or like as I can see, this one starting just at the candle close, then up. So I don't know. I don't know.
I would rather I kind of mix it, most likely the body, but then in some cases it's like the week, so I kind of mix it out. But then you have to be careful, right? I one tip I would give is make sure that as you draw the levels, you're taking the most reactions. Okay, the most reactions. So if I was to draw this like up here, it would mean that I am taking this week and this body and this week, but then neglect this price action, right? It does. But then if I bring this down here, you see that I am taking everything, right? This as a week, this as a break and retest, this as resistance and support, this as resistance, and this as resistance. So I would prefer to have the level like this than choose to just take the weeks, right? So the tip is look at the chart you're trying to draw and make sure that what you're drawing takes the most reactions, right? So as long as you can do that, I think you'll have like the best levels. So the most reactions,
Okay.
look out for that. So if the most reactions come out as weeks, yeah, if the most reactions come out as weeks, then most likely that's the case. But I mean, in most cases, you have bodies alongside. But just always make sure you're looking out for the most reactions. So,
Okay,
Yeah.
Cassie.
So okay, just finish.
I remember you sent a message on a platform saying if like a resistance is 1.2500, like a raw number, you're supposed to consider drawing the level maybe 1.2910, and a down to must be maybe 1.295, like to make it your zone. So
yeah,
I doing the same key level is supposed to be like that.
yeah, for the most part. But the idea from what I said when I explained that was you just don't want to use as a particular price. You don't necessarily have to use like a fixed. That's like a suggestion, right? But as long as it's like this, it's fine. I think it's okay. It doesn't need to be like this wide, just to make sure you're covering for the exact figures on the with the prices. Just make sure it is a zone, not just a line, right? That's why when I also draw these lines, as right, I also like make sure to draw like um a rectangle around the levels, just to help you see that it is zone, not just a particular price point you get. So I think that's like the explanation.
Yeah, yeah. The message you sent out, it's it's actually like something that I'm happy to see because I the message like directly to you in particular because I've just been using these lines as level. And now they are
So not just line, like you said, you always be using line. But you don't want to use just line. Okay, just see if you can draw it like properly, like a zone, right, like an area. Because I noticed that sometimes when you just use lines, you might think of some of these things as fake out when you're not. Okay, I think AD card is an example. So um this guy, right? If you come down to the daily, you can how it felt like it broke above. You get so if you're just using like a line without a level, it might get you confused. But that's why we draw it as a zone instead. You get so. But then if you come down to the weekly time frame, you break it up. I think that explains it pretty much. So
Yeah, Akasi, you have a question.
All right, please go ahead.
Let's say you drew let's say a weekly, right, a weekly support or resistance level, okay, and then you have your daily candlestick break above below this level, and then you retest it. Can you consider it like as a break and retest, or you have to wait for the weekly candlestick to break above and then retest it to consider the particular level? Like, let's say
So
with your monthly thing, like you
yeah,
think you can do it like the different way on the lower time frame, or have to still wait for the weekly to
yeah,
break?
I think that makes sense. I've not really thought about it in this manner because I don't really scale down that much to pick out the like. For me, I use a monthly break and retest, right? So yeah, I think if you're dealing with weekly levels, you might want to use that as something. Yeah, it might reduce the number of trades you take. But then I think like there's a whole lot more to it. Like there needs to be like more context to it. So is that a fine approach? That has to be tested, quite frankly. It looks like a fine approach.
So
Just
I'm
me.
asking you because of the guy who shared his journal last week, right? The guy had
Yeah.
levels that could draw on the daily, and then those same levels appeared on the weekly, right? And then
Yeah.
you asked him to use the weekly because the higher time frame. Huh? So does that mean that this guy has to wait for the weekly to break below and then retest it before he looks for a trade? Or you can just use the daily, even though that the support or resistance appears on both daily and then weekly. And then this
You
in the same
say as
manner, if the level appears on the monthly candlesticks too, I mean, it depends on both daily, weekly, and monthly. Must he wait for the the break and then close below or above on the monthly before he looks for the retest as well?
yeah,
I don't
I,
know if
I
you
understand the question. I understand the question. It's a fine question, and like I said, I've not really thought about it in this manner for lower time frames. For example, what you're asking is if we're doing the weekly level here, does he need to wait for the break and retest on the weekly, or can he do that on the daily, even though it's a weekly level? So I think I get the question. Um, I think that needs to be tested because I don't want to just give like a straight answer. Because here's the thing: by doing that, you would be rest assured that you will miss some trades, right? So you want to just make sure it is worth it. You want to make sure that by doing that, it gives you like a higher win rate or something, right? So I don't want to just say it is the best option. It looks like, based on my experience from what I'm doing on the higher time frames, it looks like the best option. But I think you need to test and just see for yourself if that's a better option because you will miss some trades and you need to be okay with missing some trades. The only way you can be okay with missing some trades is if you have the data to back that what you're doing makes sense. Okay, for example, I gave you guys some examples in the past. For example, this was a break and retest on pound USD. It played out, but I didn't take it, right? I was okay with missing the trade or not taking it because I have a system. Like I've tested what I need to test and I know what I'm looking for. So you cannot just decide on that aspect because it's a huge change you're going to make if you're doing that. So you can't just decide on that if you haven't tested it. I think you need to just test it and be sure that that's what it looks like. I think you get what I'm trying to say. So I think that's like a better option. Testing
I think
will solve that. All right, so I think that answers the question. Any other questions just before we wrap it up? Any other questions? Okay, that's all right. That was a fine session. Yeah, Kiki, oh yeah, Kiki, you're still here. So I think we're done here now. So yeah, tell me.
Okay, I think I understand support levels better now and key support levels because usually I get confused. You see something on a weekly, you go on a monthly, you go on a daily, and then you go on hourly, you go on 15 minutes, and you're wondering where exactly am I supposed to start from sometimes. I think I understand it better now. Thank you.
You're welcome. So you said that you're a scalper and you have some experience because you're more than a year or just above a year, but
Yeah.
it seems like you're still struggling a bit. So here's my advice. Okay, first off, I think if you can regularly come to our sessions, our live sessions, you would benefit a whole lot. This is how our sessions go, pretty much, like this. So you can just tell that it's insightful. There's so much value to the sessions, and we hold it twice a week. So Mondays and Thursdays, 8 p.m. I think that'll be 8 p.m. your time, just twice a week. Also, another member of the team, Andre, would drop weekly outlooks on Sundays most times. So I think if you can avail yourself with these opportunities to come to the live sessions, you learn a whole lot. And the analysis we post on the channels, most of them come from me. I think some of each message you can see who is sending out the message. If you take your time
Right.
to read through and see what is going on, it would make sense. Okay, so when you look at the analysis, you come on the live sessions between a few weeks and maybe a month or two, you begin to pick up what we're doing here. And my advice for traders who are starting out is to not really dabble on the lower time frames.
Okay.
Yes, trading lower time frames requires so much precision, and it requires so much data to back the system up. It takes a whole lot to be successful in lower time frames. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it takes a whole lot. So I think if you're starting out, it's easier for you to attain profitability by looking at the higher time frames. Now, of course, we don't want to go high up as I am right now because it takes a whole lot of time for trades to play out. It can take months. I promise you, it takes time. So, but then the higher time frames, the daily, the weekly at least, trying to start from there will build your confidence a whole lot more. It will teach you patience and discipline to hold your trades for days, maybe even weeks, and it gives you a higher win rate. Okay, it helps you. It's a whole lot better, in my humble opinion, to start on the higher
Okay.
time, right? So I think that's like my advice pretty much. So that and being regular on the live sessions, analysis we post, take a look at it, that will help you a whole lot. But then from time to time I share my trades. All the trades I take are all sent out on the channel. So I also share my portfolio with you guys, everybody here, so you can see how things are done pretty much. It gives us a layer of transparency to see that what we're teaching and what we're doing is the exact same thing, if that makes sense. So I
Okay.
think that's like my advice for you. And I think in our next sessions we'll be looking at back testing. So I think you're right on time because you
Oh.
can, we can learn how we back test, how the proper way to back test, and how to see if your system truly works. Okay, so
Okay.
everyone here will have to do that. Learn how to back test, show us the proper way of back testing, tracking your data. Yeah, all of those things will come into play. So anybody who has not done that before now can have the opportunity to do that. You get.
Mm.
So that's why I said, yeah, I think you're right on time. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you so
So
much.
of course, anytime. You're welcome. So yeah, once again, thank you guys for showing up today. It was a wonderful session as always. And yeah, the month just started, so let's see how far we can get this month. See if we can end the month really good. I think June ends quarter 2, so we can have a strong quarter 2. I think we have a strong one already, but let's see if we can close in really strong. So I think we'll have a fantastic week, and I will see you guys on Thursday. All right.
Okay, right, catch you. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Take care.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Let's see. Stop recording.